Hello, my name is Mwende Ngao, and this is Zeda Talks, where we try to platform women's voices and tell their stories. Today, we are talking all things fashion. I have with me a fashionpreneur extraordinaire, Wangari Mathenge. As you can see, I am wearing a kimono. If you know me online, that is, or even offline, you know that I love a good kimono, and she is the queen of kimonos. Welcome, Wangari.
Thank you, Mwende.
So let's get into how you got into fashion, why you are in fashion.
So when I was growing up, I used to dress up a lot. Like I used to layer up. Like it was like my look was always different. And then I remember like my friends and my mom would always be like, you know what, maybe one day you should pursue being like a stylist, not even a designer, like as a stylist. So I remember I was working for an eco-tourism company. So something happened that made me leave the country. So I left my job I visited Copenhagen for a bit, came back to Nairobi, couldn't find a job. And then I was looking for a way to like make money. And I remember one of my friends, if you don't mind me mention, Rose Odengo. I remember she was doing Sondeka Festival. Mm-hmm. So she ended up like asking me, you know what, if you're serious about like fashion, because you've been talking about it for a while, why not? I'll give you a platform, have the pieces, and then I'll give you a runway for free. You just bring the pieces. So I ended up like starting a fashion line in Masai Shuka, and then that's when the started, and then it blew up from then on. So that's how it started. Mm.
Amazing. Mm. I'm really happy that it was a fellow woman.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember Sondeka. I know it still kind of goes on, but I remember Sondeka then.
Yes.
It was under Creative's Garage,
yes,
I believe.
Correct.
I don't think I knew it then, but I probably attended. Was it the first one?
It was the first one, exactly.
I was there.
It was at Congress course.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
So it's so weird how we crossed paths but didn't know of each other's existence. So but I'm glad that we know each other now.
Yeah.
So fashion is, many things. I know it's a philosophical question, but what is fashion to you? Because you said you love to dress up, etc.
Okay, like for me, like when I started the brand, I wanted to evoke something, like evoking and advocating my brand to make sure that for the free spirits, like if you wear the brand, you're not dressing for anyone, you're dressing for yourself. The same way you can wear a kimono and you still look good for yourself. So I wanted something to be minimal and classy. So that's what I can say. When it comes to fashion, you have to stand out, but you have to make it your own. Like the same way I can wear the kimono, but we won't look the same. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just,
and I love that about, the way you approach style and fashion in general, because you definitely have a unique look from your hair, to the way you layer your clothes and things like that. So I can see that you have that eye and that you are interested in, individuality and things like that. Okay. So how has it been running a fashion line in Kenya? Because I would really be interested in your experience of that.
Well, it hasn't been easy because I feel like the fashion industry in Kenya is still growing. But now I feel like now that we have stylists and we have like artists that come into the country, now like people are more aware of what's happening in the fashion industry. So I must say when it started off, it was really hard because I had to look for a way to sell the clothes. So I had to make sure that there was social media. And then I have to say that God blessed me enough to like know people from like back in the day who are now like artists. So they would ask me like to dress them. So I must say that has been one of my highlights for now, but it's not easy. Like being like the fashion industry in Nairobi is not easy if you don't know the clicks or don't know how to maneuver like the industry. Yeah. Mm.
So feel free to name drop. Who are some of these artists that you have dressed?
Like I've dressed Blinky Bill, Just a Band, like when like Africa Nouveau was starting out. These are people like who I knew from church. And also, yeah, like the latest one, I dressed Silayo, whom I also know from like back in the day. And also, there was also what's her name? What's her name?
Eric?
No, there's Eric Wainaina, yes. And then there's this lady, what was her name? The one who did a song with Sanil. What's her name?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Not Simi, the other one.
Yes. Oh my, I have forgotten.
I know, me too.
Okay, we'll edit that.
We will remember.
Yes, yeah.
So you've been dressing a lot of big celebrities, basically. So when we talk about why are these people like interested in wearing your clothes? Like, do you think there's a particular reason that they're gravitating towards, especially like I know your kimonos are very, very popular. Do you feel like there's a particular reason, like there's something that they like about them?
Like I know I wanted the brand to be unisex, such that if you were like if it's like a lady wearing, like a dude can wear. So I wanted to be unisex. I didn't want it to be discriminative. I wanted to make sure like anyone can wear and still like feel good about it. Yeah.
Are there particular challenges like you faced as an African designer and especially as a woman within design, whether in Kenya or internationally?
Yeah, okay, that's a bit personal. I don't know if I can be able to say, but it's more of when okay, that's a hard question because it's personal. Because I remember like when I was starting off, like I used to dress, like people were not ready for like maybe a guy wearing a kimono. Because, kimonos are meant for the ladies. So it was very different because now people started associating me with like, what's the brand about? So I think also like making sure like the artists are wearing the clothes made like people realize like the brand is unisex, like anyone can wear it without feeling discriminated.
I see what you're saying. So like people were a bit more closed-minded when it came in the market, when it came to the kimono style being unisex. And now because many people are wearing it, it's more acceptable for anyone to wear it.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, that would never have crossed my mind because I think for me, I've always thought kimonos are unisex because generally, even with the way, when you think about the culture of kimono, whether it's like the Japanese culture, it's both men and women wearing it. So, okay, that I didn't know that. Now I know it. You do a lot of your prints tend to be more African, like this type of like what I'm wearing right now. Is there a particular reason you chose this kind of print, this kind of fabric, as opposed to, just doing like something more, floral or like silk or
I feel like when it comes to like prints, it's like it's African, and I feel like at some point Africa needs to be independent, like for itself, such that if you go anywhere, even in Europe, and you wear like an African print, people will know like where you're coming from, it's like it's very like you appreciate like where you're coming from, and then like when it comes to prints, like sometimes I have an eye for a print such that if someone orders, you won't find that print again. It's like I choose like prints like when it comes to like when I talk to someone and I know their personality, such that if I end up making something for them, like that's them. Like you'll never get the same print again.
Oh, okay. So limited edition.
Limited edition, yeah.
Amazing. So, when you talk about the fashion industry and, the fashion industry in Kenya is still, baby steps. I mean, of course, much better than before. People are wearing Kenyan designers, but there's still a long way to go. what do you see that? Do you think like it's expensive? Like, is it a cost thing? Is it because your line is made to measure, but also there's some pieces that are ready to wear, but like it's not mass market. You know what I mean? Like mass market clothes where you can go and buy like 1 million of them in a store. Do you think that lack of manufacturing capability is hurting our fashion industry?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's like, for me, one thing I've come to notice is like some of the brands have funds and they're capable to have that capability, of producing mass. But now for us, like, you have to think about where you're getting the prints, because you need good quality prints, Yeah. So you just have to, sometimes you just have to make sure you need to figure out how just to maneuver the market and figure out how to make it work.
Okay. So I know you talked about being doing some runway shows and things like that. I think I've been on it maybe to like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I know we don't have a huge, like, you know what I mean? Like Fashion Week here, when you compare to other markets, like, there's New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, Milan, etc. Do you think that's like something that could happen? Like a Nairobi, I would love like a proper Nairobi Fashion Week. And do you think like this, like the runway is still relevant when it comes to selling clothes, or, just like getting your name out there or marketing?
Oh yeah, of course. Like we have Tribal Chic, which is coming up in December, which is usually like the biggest fashion runway in Nairobi. So that's one thing. That's like one of the biggest events, like for now. But I feel like there'll be more. We need more fashion events, that they can be able to feature upcoming like fashion designers, not the same designers that we keep seeing all
like
the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm grateful for Tribal Chic, which is happening like next month. So that's a good opportunity.
Yeah. So do you feel that there is a Kenyan fashion identity, and do you feel like Kenyans are fashionable? Because I know there's a lot of debate about, especially when it comes to men, like men, the Kenyan men are not very fashionable. Like if you compare us to say Nigerians, the Nigerians are like super fashionable, or even South Africans actually. You go to a wedding and you find people in jeans and t-shirts for brands, like not like designer brands, but like brands like a corporate brand, like free t-shirt, and you're like, okay, you didn't have anything else to wear. Like, what is the problem?
Yeah, I don't think we have an identity. It's like the same way you can go to another country and like you can dress in, like Kenyans, I feel like they'll wear what they want to wear to look good.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think we have an identity at the moment.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll get there. It's like the way Nigerians have the kaftans,
Yeah. Do you feel like at least like it's like we're improving? Like, because I think like when we look at the younger especially like Gen Z, like when you walk around like CBD and then you see the way guys are like so expressive with their fashion and their style. Do you think like maybe we're improving in terms of our fashion aesthetics? Like there's more interest in trying out things or experiencing, different things from the norm.
Yeah, we're improving, and I have to give credit to Thrift Social.
Yeah.
Because when like Thrift Social happens, they always give people like they're always they give us a trend, like in terms of maybe it's you're doing maybe mustard or something. So that also helps like Kenyans like to experiment like with designers or experiment with looks, such that now everyone looks like they're blending into the event. Yeah. So I must say, I think those are like one of the guys who are helping like to tap into that.
Okay. Amazing. So when you talk about the future, what do you see as a future of your label, Wangari Mathenge?
The future, I want a team. I want to be on runway shows, and I want to start with East Africa. Like I want to be in Kigali. I want to be like in Kampala, because we also have Kampala Fashion Week. And I also want to keep tapping into like the fashion industry, like in terms of the runway show. I want to work with community-based organizations like in the Mara, because also that was one of the things that I've always been passionate about, working with Maasai women who like do beads and then now incorporate that to the clothes. So yeah, like I see Wangari Mathenge thriving. Yeah. Pole pole, yeah.
No, I love the fact that you talked about like how to incorporate your communities into fashion, because that's, I think, for me, that's usually one of the critiques I have for a lot of Kenyan fashion brands is I feel like it doesn't have a context where it feels like it's not taking from anything within, Kenya, within Kenyan culture. It just feels removed.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably part of it's a symptom of the fact that maybe, I don't think we need a particular Kenyan fashion like identity, even art in general. I like the idea like what you said, that we wear what we want and we do what we want and we like what we want. That's actually pretty great.
Yeah.
But I think maybe being grounded in who we are or what is available to us.
Exactly.
So instead of having to look out and being like, oh, what are people doing in Paris and in Milan or in South Africa, whatever, more like, okay, what do we have here and how can we incorporate that into what we are doing? So I think that's probably what I would love to see, a lot more of. Because I'm even like, why isn't anyone doing like size? I would wear a sisal skirt as the aesthetic of sisal skirts, having skirts that are, okay, somebody's gonna steal this idea.
Yes,
and it's fine. Feel free. But yeah, just having like a size, like I'm like, why don't we have that as a thing? Like, because we that's like a thing that we have. So I'm always wondering why we don't have a line. Someone is literally like, yo, buy sisal skirts, but now making them modern, making them shorter, making them, maybe it's on leather or it's on something, and then it's a thing, like we wear sisal skirts, or even like, because I feel like we limit ourselves when we have so many already resources. So I think that's why I'm always like excited to see when you're saying like you want to incorporate communities into fashion, into the fashion that the fashion pieces that you're making, because then it's sort of like, yeah, why not use what is already available, and also the skills of people who already know what they're doing and things like that.
And the thing is, I feel like maybe there's someone who's making like those sisal skirts, but maybe they're underrated.
I don't know yet.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know, like there's so many designers like in Nairobi, but now you only know the ones that
are visible.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness, you're right. So how then do we get to tap into, or what do you think can be done for more of these designers or especially young designers who are trying to get into the game? How can we support them, or what can we do to support them?
I think it just goes down to the event organizers. Maybe ask these designers to submit, and like now, like end up dismissing anyone who's ever been in the game. Yeah. And then also stylists, they should also like give these people an opportunity, you know, to expose, because some don't have the exposure. That's what I'm saying. We have so many amazing designers out there, but you only know like a few. I feel like you can even count like the ones that are visible.
It's true. Yeah. I can count the ones that are visible.
Exactly.
And that's the weird thing, is that the ones that are visible, I feel, are doing well, because someone would say, oh, there's no market for Kenyan designers. Meanwhile, the Kenyan designers that are out there, I see them and I'm like, well, they're making sales.
It's true.
I see people on Instagram or whatever tagging and saying, oh, I'm wearing a X by X. So it shows that there is interest and people are willing to spend money. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So I give that challenge to event organizers and people who are, and even I think also people who've been in the fashion industry for a long time. Like, are there mentorship opportunities? Are they mentoring anyone?
That's the thing, yes. they need to create that opportunity,
Yeah.
because I feel like it's a given, like you've been given a purpose, like you have a vision, like why can't you help, like, help others, like, thrive, because you've already, like, you're getting there, or maybe you've gotten there, but, there's so many people who look up to, because when I grew up, like, knowing, like, there's so many big brands that I started looking up to. Like, I know I've been influenced by Katush, who's a really big, and I respect her. She's amazing, but also she's influenced me, like, being a designer, because I loved her kimonos. I loved her, like, she's always been into the draping. And that's one thing that I was really keen on.
Yeah. Okay. So now that you've already started sort of into the next question, who are some of your favorite designers from Kenya? So you can mention, the famous ones, and then if you can plug in some that we probably don't know and would, or don't get as much attention.
I like monochrome. I have to tell you, like, I like how they target into Generation Z, because it's all about street style, and no one is doing that. So I have to say, like, I like monochrome, and I like TUG, also like an upcoming, like, designer. I like Mosaic, and I like also Sevaria, because it's like, they're different, like, they're bringing, like, a different feel, like, in the Kenyan market. So those were, like, my of course, Katush, of course, yes. Yes,
Okay, and what about Africa? Like, are there any African designers outside of Kenya that you're like, yep, they're definitely doing the thing?
Yeah, I like Guava. She's, like, from Kampala. She's like, she does, like, bohemian work. I also like, there's this Lagos designer called Siniano. Really, really amazing. So, and also there's Adama Paris, whom I really, really respect. So, like, for me, those are my top 3 designers in Africa.
Amazing. And what about internationally? Are there any designers you look up to internationally? You're like, yeah, that's the aesthetic I'm looking at and I love.
Internationally, I know you'll judge me, but I really.
Why do you think I'll judge you?
I really, really like Kanye, to be honest.
Oh, I mean, I kind of figured you would say that you love Kanye's because of the aesthetic. It's very, like, out there and experimental.
It's it's quite experimental. And, because sometimes I feel like when it comes to, like, international designers, you'll always see the same thing. I don't know, like, for me, I don't resonate, like, so much with them, but I appreciate the work. That's what I'm saying. Like, for Kanye, like, he thinks outside the box. It's more of him. He'll go with what works for him and what works with the people, like, he influences, Yeah.
Okay, so I'm kind of starting to see a pattern here. Like, you are more of a fashion designer who's an artist. So you're more looking at the aesthetic, and, individuality, and how people express themselves, rather than, oh, this is pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
Because pretty is pretty, but
yeah, because
bold is bold.
Bold is bold, exactly. And also, that's what I'm saying. As a designer, you need to make sure, like, whoever that you're influencing, like, they can be themselves, then they can be appreciated, respected, because it's like the way someone appreciates your work, it's like you're giving power to them or giving power to each other, such that something beautiful comes out of it.
What are you looking forward? Hopefully, the pandemic, was the pandemic tough in terms of you being able to sell your pieces? And then now that the pandemic hopefully is winding down, what are you looking forward to in terms of the future? Like, in whether it's the future of fashion, like, what are you looking to see? Are you looking for to see more collaborations, to see more?
Yeah. So the pandemic was hard because there are no funds. Like, you don't have platforms to sell your clothes. People did not have money. Everyone was going through it. But I have to say, like, as designers, sometimes you always have those people who keep coming back. Like, maybe they have to attend something and they, you can make them clothes. They can custom make them.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that, helped the brand, like, going. And then as for what I'm looking forward to, so I'm definitely going to be showcasing at tribal chic. So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to. So grateful for that.
Can you give us like a sneak peek, not of the name of the clothes, but like,
Yeah.
with the direction maybe?
Direction. I'm doing kaftans, totally different, unisex, versatile, because like that's what I want the brand to keep like growing into, you know. And then in future, more exhibitions. I'd also want to travel and take the brand out there and start selling, outside the country.
Amazing. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. I love your kimonos.
Thank you.
I really do love your work in general. So I'm very excited to see your brand grow.
Asante.
So just to wind up, how can people who are interested in seeing this and they're like, okay, I want to get my hands on some Wangari Mathenge, how can they plug in?
So for now, we're revamping our website so people can start ordering like online. And then, of course, we have the Wangari Mathenge page on Instagram. So people always reach out like on that. We're yet to start doing the newsletters because, after the pandemic, you have to we had to strategize how we need to start moving in case something like this ever happened again. Yeah. So for now, that's what we have. And maybe Biz Bars. Still not sure, but we might be at Biz Bars, like exhibitions. Yeah. So we always share on the platform what's happening, like with the brand.
Okay. Well, it sounds very excited and I'm very happy for you. Keep doing your thing.
Thank you.
I'm a fan, so.
Asante.
Thank you so much for making the time.
Yeah, thank you.
To grace this podcast. This has been a really great conversation. Of course, you can never stop talking about fashion. And I look forward to people having more conversations about fashion and how we can, expand our
Yeah.
I really want to see Kenyans starting to dress up.
I know.
I feel like, or trying different things,
Yeah.
So I feel like we are kind of very, majority of us are kind of timid when it comes to trying new things. So if you'd like to try something different, you can start with a simple thing like a unisex kimono.
Yeah.
Or the stuff you're producing next, kaftans, and see how you feel about that. Because, fashion is expression. Fashion is, being bold, to me anyway, and I hope to you as well. Thank you so much for watching this episode. We were joined by the amazing fashionpreneur, Wangari Mathenge, and her brand is called Wangari Mathenge. You can check her out on her platforms at Wangari Mathenge on Instagram, and find more information about how you can access her amazing pieces. This has been Zeda Talks, and I have been your host, Mwende Ngao. Zeda Talks is a podcast that is under Zeda Media. Zeda is a initiative that gives a platform to women's voices through content as well as events. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast as well as follow us on social media at Zeda Media on Twitter, at Zeda Media on Instagram. And you can email us or leave a comment below and let us know what you think about this podcast. If you like it or what you'd love to see more of. And even if you would like to be on this podcast, that is for women, unfortunately, only women. If you would like to be on the podcast, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to host you. We're always looking for people who are trailblazers or just have a story to tell. Thank you so much for watching.